Naming the Machine Part 4, the narrative engine. Every cycle has a hero and a threat. Have you noticed that every election cycle we are told the same story? There's a threat, and there's a hero. Different names, different parties, different headlines, but the emotional pattern, almost identical. And you can see it happening in real time. Welcome to the Grounded Ones. Like, follow, and share to support our channel, and keep this content in your feed. For example, in recent years, you'll often see figures positioned as the answer to an opposing political threat. Headlines framing one person as the counter to another. Not because politics are simple, but because narratives need contrast. Hero, threat, opposition. A modern example? They use language like, he's this party's answer to fill in the blank. Headlines position this alternative to another fill in the blank, emerging as the counter figure to fill in the blank again. The story has been the same in every election cycle. Newsom as the anti-Trump, Trump as the anti-politician, and so on and so on. The point isn't the individual, the point is the pattern. When systems need contrast, they elevate someone who fits the role. Back in the Obama era, he was simultaneously framed as a transformational hope figure and a dangerous threat figure, depending on which media ecosystem you were inside of. Same thing happens now with Trump. Depending on the media ecosystem you consume, he's either destroying democracy or saving the country. It's all still emotional narrative to destabilize your nervous system, still harvesting your attention, still diminishing your decision capacity. One side emphasizes inspiration and progress, the other risk and fear. One side frames a danger to freedom, the other a danger to democracy. One side warns of national collapse, the other warns of institutional collapse. Different language, same emotional mechanics, same nervous system activation. Fear, identity, urgency, and that matters because humans don't react to reality directly. They react to the story about reality. It is also important to understand that when a system needs an opposing figure, it does not pick randomly. It elevates someone who already fits inside the system. Someone predictable, fundable, institutionally legible, someone controllable. This happens on the left. It happens on the right. It happens in corporations. It happens in universities, governments, communities. It happens everywhere. Because the larger systems prefer stability over disruption. Some candidates push harder against institutional incentives. Others operate more comfortably within them. Systems tend to reward the second group, not because they're better, but because they're safer, more predictable, less risky to existing power structures. That is not conspiracy. That is selection pressure. You have probably seen this yourself. The same ballot measure, but depending on which party's ballot you receive, the language used to describe that measure are completely opposing. Described two different ways. Supporters say it protects freedom. Opponents say it threatens freedom. Same policy, opposite emotional reaction. Ask yourself, why are there so many emotional headlines in politics? Because language doesn't just describe reality, it shapes perception. This pattern is not new. When alternating current electricity was introduced, there were campaigns warning it was dangerous. Tesla offered widespread low to no cost electrical access. Edison offered controlled distribution with a monthly bill. Existing investments were threatened. So public fear was amplified. Fear narratives appeared. Because existing infrastructure and investment was at risk. Innovation threatened the system. No villain required because infrastructure was at risk. Different century, same mechanism. Once you zoom out, you start seeing the architecture. Large systems operate on consistent forces, incentives, stability preservation, resource concentration, narrative shaping, continuity pressure. Change the era, change the technology. If the structure stays the same, behavior repeats. And so does history. The goal is not about picking the right side. The goal is seeing the structure both sides operate within. Because when you see the pattern, you stop reacting automatically. You pause and think more clearly. If every cycle feels existential, but nothing fundamentally changes, you might not be watching reality. You're probably watching a narrative engine, and that is where sovereignty begins. We are the Grounded Ones. In our next video, we'll look deeper at how language itself becomes a control tool, a form of psychological warfare. Because once you see how narratives are built, you can't unsee it. This concludes our presentation on naming the machine, the narrative engine. We hope you enjoyed the content. Please like, share, and comment to support our channel. Join us on the School app for deeper insights and classroom content. And find us on all social media at The Grounded Ones.